the music. Time to dance.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of DropPod. I know it's been a little while since we've done something like this. Unfortunately, there hasn't been a ton to talk about in Halo. Of course, we've recently gotten some great exposure to Forge and things like that. Our own Sicca Mechanico's map was featured in the very first Forge, like 4-part series breakdown for what Halo Infinite's Forge has improved upon. Definitely go check out the latest episode of You Had Me at Halo, our Halo podcast over here at XboxEra, to see the guy sit down with Sick and talk about that a little bit. Also the last episode of DropPod, Sick kind of goes over some of his stuff for that new map. But guys, today I'm joined by the always genuinely lovely Soul Blazers. Soul, how are you doing today, my friend?
Hey, yeah, thanks for having me, man. Good to be here. Finally back on another DropPod. It's we're gonna get, I feel like, more Halo news as the weeks progress, so it's nice to be back on this.
Yeah, absolutely. So just for some insider baseball, we are recording this on the Saturday before the second issue of the Forge videos. So the second episode will go over bots and some of the scripting stuff that they're doing. That's going to be very exciting. But in the interim, we have some fun stuff from the most recent Halo Infinite playlist update. This is the September playlist update that's up on the Waypoint blog. Really, the biggest thing that I wanted to draw attention to, Soul, I think that you also found this very interesting, was they gave us a ranking for how popular their playlists are. Now, of course, they didn't give us a percentage of the population playing each, unfortunately, but they did kind of break down. I'm just gonna hit like some of the higher ones up on this list. Number 1 is Quick Play. I don't think that surprises anybody.
Yep, that's expected.
Number 2, Ranked Arena. Number 3, Fiesta. Fiesta being that high does surprise me a little bit.
Yeah,
but
honestly,
honestly,
people like their
with the amount of challenges in the game that have to do with Fiesta, that probably plays a big hand in that. Number 4, Team Slayer. Number 5, Big Team, and then Tactical Slayer, Land Grab, Doubles, everything else down below that. Soul, is there anything on this list other than Fiesta that surprises you, kind of where it's sitting in its ranking?
So Ranked Arena number 2 did surprise me, I'll be honest, because I didn't think there were that many people playing the game that competitively.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But then again, it does also encompass like 3 of its own, like 4 playlists on its own, technically, right? Solo, duo, open, close.
No, that's true. They're not separated out really. I mean, there is ranked doubles down on number 8.
That's true. Yeah,
but it really doesn't look like everything else is listed out here. It looks like it's just ranked arena, ranked doubles that are of that ranked umbrella on here.
Though the dichometry between ranked arena being 2 and then Fiesta being 3, basically it's the sweatiest mode, right? The most competitive mode, and then the most social mode, right next to each other.
Yeah. No, I think that this is incredibly interesting. One of the coolest pieces of information that we got about this is Last Spartan Standing got taken out of the game not too terribly long ago, a couple weeks ago, I want to say. And it upset a lot of players. You know, a lot of people, myself included, would have said that Last Spartan Standing was probably their favorite mode in the game at that point.
I really enjoyed Last Spartan Standing. Had a blast with it.
Absolutely. I did too. The interesting statistic that they did give us, even though they didn't give us the rest of the playlists, was that even though a lot of players refer to LSS as their favorite mode, less than 1% of the player population was actively engaging with it. Which, that's mind-blowing.
I feel like, you mentioned something, and now that I think about it, I feel like this could be a factor in it too. I loved Last Spartan Standing. I would play it whenever I could. However, I only had limited time to play in general every night, and I kind of prioritized the challenges.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Of which Last Spartan Standing only ever had challenges during like the event weeks for it. That's it.
No, totally. And I think with Last Spartan Standing being such a unique mode in Halo, like even going back to the earlier titles that have more silly modes and stuff like that, it is such a different experience from the rest of the game. Like even Fiesta is still like 4v4 arena maps. Like you understand what it is. It's just like random weapons. Last Spartan Standing is incredibly intense, and a part of me wonders if that's players actively in a match at any given point in time when they're polling for that, or if that is like in the course of a 24-hour period, in the course of a day, what percentage of the population is playing it. So
that's interesting. Yeah, because if it was players actively in a match, of course it'd be less because people leave, right? They die, they lose their 5 lives, they get out.
Exactly.
I think they did mention that they'll bring it back at one point.
I'm sure.
Not in this blog, but I think on Twitter or something.
I'm sure that they'll maybe even rework it a little bit.
Yep.
You know, we know that there is stuff in development, maybe not necessarily at 343, but modes that could kind of supplement LSS at some point in time.
Yeah.
But I think as it stands, I think it's a great experience and something that should definitely stick around, even if it's just like rotational. Hey, you know, like the Team Snipers playlist was just a rotational playlist, something that they bring in every so often.
You know, I never had trouble, other than searching early morning, finding matches for Last Man Standing. So that's why I was a little surprised when I heard it was less than 1% of the people
it's so
playing.
weird, right? Like, I've had way longer queue times in, like, ranked than I've had in Last Man Standing. But yeah, I think that LSS being removed, being, you know, less than 1% of the population, is an interesting, like, dichotomy against the yappening, which was just recently confirmed, and in this blog post again, that the yappening is sticking around. The yappening is happening. Keeps on happening.
Thankfully.
I haven't personally gotten to play the mode, but oh my god, Alex, I believe, wrote this blog. Somebody at 343, whoever wrote this blog, pointed out that that the yappening playlist has been the overwhelming favorite playlist, nearly 4 times as popular as the number 2 playlist. Now, initially, Soul, when I read this, and we just talked about it, but initially when I read this, I understood that as quick play was still above the yappening, but you pointed out that you don't think that's what they're saying at all there.
Yeah, no, just the way they word that as saying it has been the overwhelming favorite playlist, that for me it says number 1, and then they say as a number 2, 4 times as popular. Also, technically the ranking we have for reference is what's been popular the last month,
right?
Is what they're saying over the thing. So I guess they probably just didn't include yappening in there.
No, probably not enough data to make it like fit in that category.
Yeah.
But yeah, you think that it means that since it's been around, it's been the number 1 playlist.
Yeah.
By a significant margin, 4 times the amount as maybe quick play.
Yeah, one thing I did notice, and I always check this because I hate myself, is I always check Infinite's place in Xbox Most Played. And since the
I look at the Steam numbers all the time. I get it.
It hasn't gone up by much, but it did go up a couple places in both the States and Canada. So a part of me tells me, hey, also yappening, I mean, it's had great word of mouth, right? Hey, come back to Halo for a bit. We're gonna play some social modes. You know, I played with some friends who haven't played the game in months.
Yeah, right? I mean, I have every intention of sitting down and playing it today or tomorrow, like, because of the yappening. I think word of mouth is a great point, Soul, and I can't imagine what some like real marketing power behind something like this would do.
Yeah, seriously. Really quick, so the yappening, for those who don't know technically, is it's a group of playlists on Big Team Battle designed to be more so social, less sweaty. For the most part, it's Fiesta, with variant weaponry spawning at the spawn points, but there's also a couple ones like Team Snipers, Shoddy Snipes, or Sprockets, which I've only played twice because Fiesta skewed a lot.
It honestly, a lot of fun. It was the thing that I saw the clips from the most, like on Twitter and stuff, was I saw Ubernick go to jump into a wasp and be like, I wonder how long this will last, and like doesn't even get off the ground and immediately gets destroyed. I was like, okay, that looks hilarious. I gotta check this out. Yeah, so they're stripping the yappening name from it and calling it BTB Social on the 20th of September. It's my brother's birthday. And it you know, they're just gonna kind of keep it around. It looks like the dedicated land grab playlist will be rotated out of matchmaking, probably not being replaced by anything. It'll probably just kind of fold in, which is interesting because it's kind of middle of the pack here. It's number 7 on their 12 playlist ranking, but everything below it, I feel like are things that people would want to keep around, right? Like Team Snipers, Rumble Pit, ranked doubles, team doubles, and then of course Bot Boot Camp isn't going to go anywhere. So I mean, yeah, I feel like if you're going to rotate something out of this tier list to make room for BTB social mode, to keep the playlists healthy so that you're not straining it too much. I think land grab is the one that has to go.
Like, I like land grab. It's a really fun mode. It's like a nice mix between competitive and you can still have like some room to make mistakes. But at the same time, I did kind of wonder where land grab was like the entrenched event happens, right? Which is this season's narrative event, or so they say. The event happens, but there's no difference in the playlists because we've always had access to land grab, you know? So it's like, okay, all right, there's no real difference except you changed land grab to entrenched. Like, I think
that's a big thing that 343 can execute on, and not something that I feel like would be super alien for them. I genuinely don't think it'd be hard for them to learn how to update a playlist, even ever so slightly.
Yes.
An example of this that I'll give from a game that I play a lot is up until recently, Iron Banner was just the same control mode from Destiny. But instead of it being regular control, they changed the plots on the map so that they were like fire pits.
That's cool.
Like literally something that small can give it a whole new flavor.
Yeah.
And I think that's all they really need to do with some of these event modes. Obviously, we'd like to see more than that. But I think that little stuff like that would help give some of those event playlists some extra an extra shot of life.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And then I think the last thing I really wanted to hit on with you, Sol, while I have you here, buddy, is it's really cool getting to see these rankings, and I'd love to see this kind of broken down every month. I wouldn't expect that to come, but is there anything that isn't in the game right now, playlist-wise, classic Halo mode, something like that, that you think if they were to bring it back would probably see a similar level of success as the Happening has seen?
So I definitely do, and it is in there, but it's not in there. Number 11, Rumble Pit, right? Mm-hmm. When the season 2 started, and they talked about all these cool, game modes like grapple swords or rocket deflectors, I got really excited. I'm like, man, this looks like a lot of fun. Since then, I've played free for all many times for challenges or whatnot, Rumble Pit. And the vast majority of my plays are either just normal FFA, Fiesta FFA, normal oddball FFA, which is the most painful thing ever. Why is that a mode in there? Like, even Vampire Ball is not that good, but it has a little bit of, fun to it.
Yeah.
Just an action sack playlist, or even an action sack free-for-all playlist. Something focused primarily on, like, hey, this is just screwing around, having fun. Like, there's a reason Yappening blew up as much as it did, right? People are dying for a more social, more lax game mode, and clearly the audience is there. So yeah, I personally think if they bring Action Sack back, or even just free-for-all Rumble Pit that's nothing sweaty at all in there, it'll do really well.
No, I totally agree, man. I feel vindicated. I've said it on the podcast for months now that Infinite needs more social experiences.
Yes.
So it's cool that the Happening has been as successful as it is, even though I haven't played it.
Yeah.
But I think replacing Rumble Pit with Action Sack, where it's just the party modes, I think is a great idea. You
obviously
go ahead.
You need an FFA playlist. Obviously, it is something a lot of people play. It is competitive. They have the competitions at every LAN event, right? But like, come on, there needs to be something a little more social there. Like,
ranked FFA, which would just be Rumble Pit with ranks, and Action Sack. Like that's all you need.
Exactly.
I don't think you're separating that player population.
Because I think Rumble Pit replaced just normal FFA. So if you're an FFA player and you actually want to play it seriously, you want to practice for the event, blah blah blah, you can't queue up a Rumble Pit.
Right. I'm gonna steal something out of my hat. I will say, to be fair to everyone watching, I did prepare for this. I just asked Sol kind of last minute if he would join me for the episode. I think something that would see an insane amount of success as a temporary thing and then be folded into said Action Sack playlist. Zombies. Give me Infection. Where's Infection, man? I mean, it's one of those things we understand. Some people have been able to data mine some of that out of the game and like into private matches and stuff like that. I think it would be incredibly nice to just see it added to the game. I predicted months ago that Halloween is when we would see that. Yeah. I'm still holding on to that hope a little bit. But
I'm not so sure.
I don't expect to see it.
Their content just release pacing right now has been even slower than we thought. Getting into Infections is kind of getting into like, what's holding them back? What's the bottleneck? Is it the game modes? Is it the maps? What's happening here? If Infection popped up, it would literally be like top 4. Easy.
100%. I think no contest. But yeah, I think Action Sack is kind of really what I was thinking, especially if you can get some more classic modes in there like Infection. Yeah. But
yeah. Because Infection used to be an Action Sack mode, right? Or
no, 100%.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Man, that's crazy. I mean, one thing though, the silver lining or the light at the end of the tunnel or the middle of the tunnel, let's say, is Forge is releasing in 50 days now?
Yeah. It's less than 2 months out, which is incredibly exciting. The team at 343 is putting out these seemingly weekly, maybe bi-weekly Forge tutorials, essentially, Forge breakdowns. But yeah, I think it's cool that there's something to at least kind of look forward to right now. I'm pretty stoked to get my hands on Forge. I know a lot of us here at XboxEra are very excited about getting their hands on Forge. And I think that people watching this can expect some Forge-related content from us, given our founders'
for sure.
proficiency and experience working on the team at 343 for Forge, being a Forge Council member. But Soul, there's only so much time in the day, and it's been lovely talking to you for just a little bit. Where can people find you online if they wanted to look you up?
So, my Twitter, Soul Blazers. I edit, write reviews. However, next week I will be attending the Orlando HCS event. So keep an eye on my Twitter for some pictures I'll post, and possibly I might cover the event in some kind of official capacity for the site. So keep an eye out for those.
Very cool, man. That's super exciting. Of course, you know where to find me. Anywhere you might think I'm gonna be there. Austin Ford Games. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of DropPod. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed it. Tell me what you think. Tell me what playlists you'd like to see added to Halo Infinite. Soul, once again, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Until next time, everybody, be safe, have fun. I love you.
See you.